Yeah, we're cousin. I'm still tired as fuck. Okay, but Max is addicted right now because Max watched, okay, cause so, like, I didn't really care about Hell's Kitchen and everything. I was like, oh, just yelling and crap, and I'm not interested. But then he went on the journey and they call it Nightmare Kitchen. But instead of that, I didn't remember what it was called. So I just typed in Hell's Kitchen and then it popped up because I was like, Hell's Nightmare Kitchen, same thing. Um, yeah, yeah, a little bit more light. I don't want the light. Never mind. I don't care. Um, okay. We look. That's how. I don't give a shit. No, no, buddy. No, baby. No. Don't call yourself nasty names. Okay. Good job. You apologize. We can move on. Okay. I have to do that for everything. Okay. Maybe ignored myself. Okay. No. Nightmare's Kitchen. And then I watched a little of that. I was used to watching that, so I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, and then it popped up as like a Feed and Everything bar rescue because apparently I saw like a clip for that. And then it reminded me of the Nightmare's Kitchen because I thought it might be the same thing. And then I was like, oh. And then I've been just watching Bar's Rescue, which also I thought was spelled with a Q. That is RESCQUE. Because if you have the U before the E, you usually have a Q in front of it. Like question. And I was like, rescue sounds like a Q. Yeah, but apparently I'm wrong. There's no Q. Okay, yeah. But I mean, just learning spelling errors. Like normal. Okay, no. But I was watching it and everything, and other people would be like, oh, really grossed out and like appalled by how dirty the kitchen was and being mold and everything. And then Max was like, oh, especially since I just watched one. It was like a confirmation, so it was a lot of them, just more, they shortened it a little bit, them all together. So that's what I was watching, and then they kept like showing, they kept complaining, and I only really got it because he was, because the guy who does like the inspections and everything like that, he's trying to help save the businesses. He goes in and he obviously watches the cameras and sends like people to like try the food first and everything like that. But then he goes in. Most of the time, he has to go in and intervene because of cross contamination. Because the cooks are almost always, they don't wash their hands, they don't put gloves on, anything like that, and they're always touching raw meat, and they're touching everything else. And then I always thought it was a big deal and everything because he went in and he's like, no, you're gonna kill somebody because you keep doing this. And I was like, wait, you can die from this? And then I was like, I totally should have died. And then I was like, if you're shutting places down for that, then I was like, I should have totally been taken out of my home because nothing, there was no food safety. Oh, yeah, mom washed her hands a little bit more than he did, but not enough, and definitely not to the standard, so we do not know how we were not poisoned, and we probably were. Uh, we just didn't die from it. Yeah, so who knows what the fuck's happening. But yeah, I was like, yeah. And when I watch it, I'm like, that's just normal. Mold and dirt everywhere and grime all over everything. And like, even if you wash the dishes 2 times, there's still food and dirt and junk in it. And you just reuse it. Oh, and that's if you're lucky and it was washed 2 times. Yeah. And even after it's washed 2 times, it's still not clean. And like, even like, oh, it's just like a cup for a glass of water. Yeah, that's not clean either. That has still has gunk on it. Even if you wash it twice, and then silverware can have gunk on it, and everything has dried, and um, plates, they have, oh, just a little bit of dirt on it. Mostly, usually, always still have burnt on the bottom. And you can't get it off. It's completely charred over and over again. So the pot is completely burnt on the bottom, and you can't remove it. You can't clean it. And then your sink area is really dirty and filthy, and the tables are still really dirty, even if you try and clean it all the time, and it's just gonna get dirty in a few minutes. So you kind of just give up, especially like on the floor and cleaning and washing dishes. You're like, it's gonna get dirty and it's still not gonna be clean even if you clean it. So you kind of just give up because you're like, you have to clean and you have to do it. So you do it, but you're like, I have to do this again in 5 minutes. So don't know why I'm doing this. So I just have to do it, redo it all the time. Just spend the entire day to get anything clean, and for anything to be clean, you would have to spend the entire day just sweeping and scrubbing down the table and really scrubbing really hard on the table to get all the grime and dirt off. And you have to really scrub, and you would have to take apart because we got a newer stove more recently. But it still probably has some food gunk in it, but a lot less than it was before. But it just had a bunch of burnt food and everything like that, just all over in it, inside it, and all over the top and in the burners. The burners are always covered in dirt and grime, and then it was covered all over the stove. It was just disgusting, and then it was just all moldy, and the food usually would go bad. It would go bad in the freezers. It would mold. It would mold in the storage units, and then you would leave it so it would get old. It would mold in the freezer. Yeah, it was all. So there was always cross-contamination and moldy food and rotten food. Like nothing was safe. And everything was dirty and disgusting and gross, just like in the shows. I'm just like, yeah, I watched this and I'm like, yeah, it's normal. And I only realized that was actually a problem, and I was like, oh. Because they're always like, oh, if like a health inspector came, they could totally like shut them all down. And I was like, if anyone actually came to our house and looked at the food, yeah. They're like, yeah, this is not safe for consumption. This is a safety hazard. This is not, yeah. I always did think it was unedible. You weren't supposed to eat it. And I knew it. We had